What's up, y'all? It is Mary.
Oh,
Yes, you guys, and today we are going to be talking about this tragic news that's coming out of Paris, well, France to be specific. Tragic story. There is a woman in France who has been married for a total of 50 years to her spouse, and unfortunately, it has come out that that this man has actually been drugging his wife and having her, raped and SA'd for over 10 years. And it has
the
been
last
over
10 years of their 50-year marriage.
It actually happened from 2011 to 2020. I think they said there was about a total of 200 events of the drugging and then assaulting her and then filming it. So this happened over 200 times, but it's been a total of 90 men, but most of these events happened with the husband, so he was the main perpetrator, but he apparently would recruit random men from some type of site in France, which has now been shut down and everything. And he would just have these random men come, not for money or anything, but just so that they could have, they could rape the wife. Some of them said it was intercourse and they felt like they were tricked by it. Some of them said that they didn't know, which I feel like if a woman's unconscious and she's like not really aware, it's like, you're just dumb. Like, that's just an excuse.
No,
but
you're
the
sick.
husband, you're sick.
You're sick. No one should be doing anything with anyone who's not conscious.
But then some of them had the nerve to say that,
and it's
we felt like...
too. It's a stranger that you got from a site. Even that is sick. Anyway.
But yeah,
I don't know why these sites are allowed.
But some of the men said that, we felt like because the husband gave consent, maybe this is some weird thing that they do. So that was... I'm just giving the facts for this.
Sick. Even if the husband gave consent. Where is just the thing of saying, these are... Anyway, okay, let's just...
let me finish the thing and then we'll give our opinion. Yeah. But the way that this man was actually caught was that the police were actually investigating him for a number of crimes.
Yes.
He was allegedly filming up women's skirts in public spaces, and when they confiscated his laptop, they actually found all these horrific incidences. He actually had it all in a file labeled abuse, so he knows what he's doing is wrong. And apparently the wife is not the first victim in the family. Apparently he had taken unsolicited photos of his daughter and also of his daughter-in-law, and these were taken
the daughter that he has with this woman.
Yes, and then also of his daughter-in-law, so I think he had cameras in the bathroom because he had these images of them as well. So all this was found on his laptop. So just to kind of
so heartbreaking for
those are the facts of the case. I think it's going to be a 4-month trial. She has not. The police actually brought her in to look at some of the photos. I think the man showed her 3 or 4 photos, and she was like, she can't anymore.
I cannot.
Even it took her a long time to actually watch one video. Like she said, it took her years before she could even look at the video. She is now filing to divorce her husband, and they have gotten a total of 50 of these men to go to court, and most of them are going to be facing up to 20 years in jail. But they actually had 50 of the men lined up, and I was just like, wow, that's so crazy. And it's really sad and unfortunate, and it's so sick, because to me this is just a representation of what happens when you marry the wrong person and when you marry somebody who hates you. For this man to go and be doing this to this woman in her old age, apparently she was having memory loss. She was going to the hospital. They couldn't figure out what was going on with her. She was getting all these sexually transmitted diseases as well.
Probably like mentally, you know, I'm sure like she was feeling some kind of way.
Well,
but
she
she's
was
just like,
getting diseases. So she would go to a doctor, and they were saying she had all these sexually transmitted diseases, and that she was having severe memory loss as well. And she thought that she was on the brink of what's that thing? The memory loss drug, not drug, but the memory loss disease, Alzheimer's.
Alzheimer's, yeah.
So she thought she was getting that as well. So this was all happening over a course of these few years. But for him to do this to her,
and watch
period,
her,
but
like
also
he was getting off just watching her.
no, he
demise,
was filming
too.
it. Like
No,
he'll be
but
in the room filming it with a
mental
camera.
breakdown of her.
Yeah.
He's watching that,
Yeah.
probably getting happy with that, as
Right.
she is totally breaking down. Like it's not enough that you do this to her physically,
But you have recordings
but
of
now
it.
mentally to see the mental breakdown of her as
Yeah.
well. Like this is another level of evil.
Yeah.
You know, this is someone who hates women,
Obviously.
hated her, hated the daughter,
Yeah.
like just hates women. Just
But he's a sexual deviant. Like he's
Absolutely.
actually and he's like the bottom
Absolutely.
of the barrel. Like there's something very, very
all these
wrong with
men
this man.
who have women, their partner, going to have sex with other, like what Didi was doing with these freak offs.
Yeah.
These are, like you were saying, sexual deviants. These are men who have issues. They don't even like women.
They don't even like themselves.
They don't even like women. That's
Yeah.
why they're getting off seeing naked men. They don't even like women either,
Yeah.
right? They don't love themselves. They've got, you know, issues, probably trauma going all the way back to their childhood, the way they were introduced to sex, all of that.
Yeah. Or
Right?
porn addictions.
Yep.
Like all of that stuff. Like it's just so shocking. Like when I saw this, I
And
just
I'm saying
was
that for
baffled.
women who are out here with men, and the man wants to introduce you to all these weird stuff. Well, let's have these throuples and all this foolishness.
Yeah.
It is sexual deviance.
Behavior.
That's what it is.
And
It's
it shouldn't
not,
be
oh,
encouraged.
I am expanding my sexual stuff. It's not. It's a sickness. And you're never going to have them be fulfilled. You think you're going to be able to keep the man doing all this stuff? You're not.
Look at Tiana Taylor.
Okay? After all of that, it still didn't work. And so many other people.
Yeah.
Okay? So just, it's best not to even engage
Right.
and go and find the right one who will treat you well and treat that whole thing as something that's sacred and beautiful,
Because it is.
not something that has a deviancy and all this other stuff going on. Oh,
And you
I
shouldn't.
feel so bad for the woman. It's just,
What's so
how do you
important?
get it out? How do you get through all of that?
What I find so effed up, like obviously
In
a
her
man
old
doing
age,
this
too.
to a woman is effed up. But to do this when this woman is like 50, 40, like to do that to her in her old age,
She looks
there's
like
a
she's in her
certain type
70s.
of wickedness.
Yeah, she
To
looks like
do
she's in
that.
her 70s. So she's already frail, and this is what you choose to do now.
Drugging her for several years. In my opinion, I don't think he got up after 40 years of marriage and said, oh, let me start doing this. I'm
No.
sure he had been doing this to other women. I'm sure he was maybe like one of those like the Golden State killer or whatever who will go out at night and do this stuff to women, then come home. And then he was like, you know, I'm going to do it to my wife now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure he had been doing this for a while because he don't just get up one day and say, oh, I'm going to do this
And you know
depravity
something, I
to this
kind
level.
of feel like he probably has been doing this to her from the very beginning. They've been married for 50 years. He probably was doing it to her in her 20s and her 30s, but not as frequently,
Yeah.
right? And he wasn't filming then.
Right.
Because probably back in those days, they weren't doing all
Technology was
that
not where it is now.
today.
Yeah.
And in these latter years, this is what he has chosen to have in his latter years to be watching
Yeah.
as he gets older, too.
Right.
Wow.
It's really just sad and it's sickening.
Really,
Like I just don't
prayers
even
up
have.
for this woman.
Yeah.
Honestly, just prayers up for her because it's going to take God's grace and His miracle, God's hand,
Yeah.
to heal her for real. I mean, that's all it's going to take. Really.
This
It's
man
so
was just
sad.
a beast because he was doing this to his daughter-in-law. Like he had just been a
And he's
menace
not-
in the
he-
family.
Yeah, it's you know, when you do sick stuff, what you have to understand, it's not just the person who's the victim. You know, like that person is the victim, but you don't go like unscathed.
Yeah.
You don't. You get even more wrapped up. It's like that snake just wrapping itself around you, strangling you, right? In your depravity, in your heinous acts. You know,
Yeah.
and the thing is, she is going to be able to go on with her life and heal, get her healing, you know. But he is going straight to jail, and that's where he gets to live the rest of his life.
No, but karma is something. 'Cause I remember Jeffrey Dahmer, his first victim, he had beat him to death with a barbell. After, and then he cannibalized him. But he also died in prison by a barbell strangulation.
Oh, isn't that? I don't want to say wonderful, but
It's karma. So
Karma.
it is karma, and I do feel like he's gonna get the day he deserves. And
Yes.
all these men
and then
who
you have
did
the
this,
eternal one too.
You
which
did all-
also.
my thing is, I just want to close out with this. It's so important to have control of your lower desires, like control of your private parts, control of your mind, your emotions. You did all these sick men. You went on a site for 5 seconds of depraved pleasure. Now your ass is going to jail for
Yeah.
probably 20 years because you could not control your weenie.
But
That's
he
so
couldn't have
crazy.
gotten pleasure. You know why? He couldn't have gotten pleasure because he continued to do it. Where was the fulfillment in that?
No, I'm
He
talking
had
about the
to
man who
keep
went
on.
on this site to go
Oh,
violate this woman.
Oh yes, those idiots.
Like just an
Yeah.
idiot because you couldn't control yourself down there. Now you're going to be in
Had to go
jail.
get a stranger.
A stranger.
Going to a home that the husband and wife, or even if you didn't know if it was husband or wife.
Well, they did know
This
because
is
the man was
obviously his
soliciting.
partner.
Yeah,
He's obviously his partner.
and you didn't
And
think
you also going to be a part of that.
it's so sick.
Yeah.
Like I can't even talk about it for too long because I'm just like there's no
All of these men
words.
probably have wives.
I'm sure
Can you
some of them
imagine?
do.
Can you imagine? You find out that the husband, you're like, excuse me, what? We have 4 kids. You what?
You have
travel? How about the ones who probably
Traveled.
don't live in Paris? Maybe live somewhere in, I don't know, Timbuktu or somewhere. They're like, you travel to Paris for what? To go and what?
This is what happens when you don't have control of yourself. The best thing anybody
don't know
can
what is
have is
going on in this
control of
society,
yourself, man. You can't be out here doing stuff just to be doing it because you want a few seconds of pleasure. Like craziness. Craziness. So anyway, y'all let us know what y'all think about this. This whole
Yeah.
thing was just
It's
insane.
sick. It's not just the husband, it's all of those men that
Yeah.
took part in this. And some of them probably have regular family lives. That's what's really scary to me. That so many men took part in this. Right? And for every one man that did this, there are a lot of men out there too
Yeah, for sure.
who are doing this. Not just him, because this site was up there.
Yeah.
Where
Right.
you can just call strangers to come. Hey, come, such and such is going on. And you have no control. You're just like this beast, like just being led. Come, you know? And oh, yes, I'll go. Oh, yes, I can go. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Anyway, y'all let us know what you guys think about this craziness down below in the comment section, and we will see you guys on the next video.
Very sad. Prayers up.
Prayers up.
for this woman.
And if you have any
Prayers up.
issues with corn or whatever, fix it now because it
Yes.
can get a lot worse.
Especially if
If
you're
you-
young.
If you're a
Fix
sex
it
addict,
now
fix
because
it now.
this is the path that you're going on. You
Yeah.
see what happened here? This is where you're gonna be in your 40s, in your 30s. You don't get a grip on this in your 20s and early 30s. This is
Yeah.
where you're going.
Sex is not just sex.
No.
It's not. And when it's not,
It's meant to be beautiful.
It's meant to be beautiful,
sacred. It's meant to
wholesome.
be
watching this stuff
fulfilling,
on people,
amazing,
Yeah.
like ecstasy that you wouldn't believe, wonderful fulfillment.
but it's also
but-
supposed to be a security blanket because this is
Yeah.
somebody that you do with somebody that you love. It's something that
That you
could
trust.
bring you guys together.
Yes.
You create families from it.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be a sacred act. It's supposed to be the highest expression of love.
Yes.
So that's what it's meant to be. It's not
Yes.
supposed to be you go and do with random strangers and we getting it on just because. That's
And
not
weird
what it's
things.
supposed to be.
No.
And when you do that, you are letting the devil himself prostrate you with his touch.
Oh yes.
So you have to
Oh, yes.
watch what you're doing.
Mm.
Yes, we are in a society where they say that sex is great and you should do this and all that. It's not great when it's not done in the right context. And for men and women, it can be the downfall of your life. So
Absolutely.
this is a prime example.
Absolutely.
There's an extreme example, but you could be here too.
Yeah, we're talking about all these men, but with one man, there's like maybe 5 family members,
Yeah.
right? Mm.
We'll see y'all later.